Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. Justin Wright stared at the strange crystalline artifact sitting on his desk, its translucent surface catching the last rays of sunset through his Manhattan apartment window. The $20 price tag from the Brooklyn flea market still clung to its base. "What a waste of money," he muttered, reaching to clean off a smudge with his sleeve. The crystal felt oddly warm under his touch. A pulse of blue light erupted from the artifact, filling his cramped home office with an otherworldly glow. Justin stumbled backward, knocking over his ergonomic chair as the light coalesced into a feminine form. His jaw dropped. Standing before him was the most striking woman he'd ever seen. Her skin was a deep sapphire blue that somehow looked completely natural, complementing curves that would make a supermodel envious. Dark hair cascaded past her shoulders in waves that seemed to shimmer with starlight. Her features were ethereally beautiful yet still somehow human, save for the subtle points of her ears and the faint luminescence in her eyes. She wore what appeared to be a sleek bodysuit that shifted colors like oil on water, leaving little to the imagination while somehow maintaining an air of elegant sophistication. "Hello, Justin Wright," she said, her voice musical with an accent he couldn't place. "I am Rima, and I am here to grant you 3 wishes." Justin blinked several times. How do you know my name?" A slight smile played at her lips. "The artifact is attuned to its owner, though I must say, you're taking this rather well for a human." "I write code for virtual reality systems," Justin said, finally finding his voice. "Either I'm hallucinating from too much caffeine, or the universe is way more interesting than I thought. I'm hoping for option 2. Rima's laugh was like wind chimes. "Your species always tries to rationalize everything." She glanced around his apartment, taking in the organized chaos of his workspace. Multiple monitors displaying lines of code, empty energy drink cans, and takeout containers from the Thai place downstairs. "So, you're what exactly? A genie?" Justin asked, trying to maintain his composure while his mind raced. "Your ancestors called my kind Succubus," she said matter-of-factly, perching herself on the edge of his desk. "Though that term comes with rather limited connotations. We are beings of pleasure and desire, yes, but we're far more than that." Justin felt heat rise to his face. "And you're here to grant wishes because ancient pact between our races," she said, examining one of his fidget cubes with curious interest. "Though most humans have forgotten, usually this is the part where the chosen one starts asking for wealth, power, or—" She gave him an appraising look. "More carnal desires." "Right." Justin ran a hand through his disheveled brown hair. "And what's the catch? There's always a catch in these situations." Rima raised an elegant eyebrow. "You've been reading too many cautionary tales. The wishes are genuine, bound by cosmic law. Though I should mention they cannot cause direct harm to others or violate the fundamental laws of reality." "Uh-huh." Justin grabbed his fallen chair and sat down, trying to process everything. "And you're okay with this arrangement? Being summoned to grant random wishes?" The question seemed to catch her off guard. Her luminescent eyes widened slightly. No one has asked me that before." She recovered quickly, but Justin caught a glimpse of something vulnerable beneath her confident exterior. "Well, I'm asking now," he said, "and I'm not in any rush to make wishes until I understand what I'm dealing with. Would you like some coffee? Or tea? Do succubi drink tea?" Rima stared at him for a moment before laughing again, this time with genuine amusement. "You are not what I expected, Justin Wright. And yes, I do enjoy tea, though your earth varieties are rather mild compared to what I'm used to." Challenge accepted. Justin stood and headed for his small kitchen. I've got this insane ghost pepper chai that my sister brought back from India, probably the closest thing to hellfire in beverage form. Are you implying I'm from hell? Rima followed, her movement graceful despite the cramped space. Hey, you're the one who brought up Succubus, Justin said, filling his electric kettle. I'm just working with the mythological references I've got. Your mythology gets so many things wrong, she said, watching him prepare the tea with interest. Though I suppose that's what happens when stories get passed down through generations of priests with various agendas. Justin handed her a steaming mug. So set the record straight. Tell me about your world, your people. If I've got 3 wishes coming, I should at least know who I'm dealing with. Careful, Rima said, taking a sip of the tea. Her eyes lit up at the spicy kick. This is actually quite good, but be careful. Showing genuine interest in a succubus can be dangerous. More dangerous than accidentally summoning one in my apartment? Point taken. She settled onto one of his kitchen stools, crossing her legs in a way that made Justin force himself to maintain eye contact. What would you like to know? As the night wore on, they talked about everything from quantum physics to reality TV shows, which Rima found both fascinating and horrifying. Justin learned that her people were an ancient race of energy beings who had taken physical form eons ago to better interact with younger species. The whole succubus thing was a gross oversimplification of their role as intermediaries between dimensions. So, you're basically super advanced aliens who got stuck with a bad reputation because medieval humans couldn't handle the concept of interdimensional beings, Justin asked around midnight, working on his 3rd cup of tea. That's actually a pretty accurate summary, Rima admitted. Though the pleasure aspect isn't entirely human invention, my people do have a deep understanding of various forms of satisfaction. The way she said it sent a shiver down Justin's spine, but he forced himself to focus. And the wishes. A way to facilitate exchange between our peoples, she explained. Though these days, it's more tradition than necessity. Most humans just rush through their wishes without taking time to understand the possibilities. Their loss, Justin said. I think I'd rather hear more about your thoughts on human technology. Earlier you mentioned something about our quantum computers being adorably primitive. Rima's eyes lit up with genuine enthusiasm, and Justin couldn't help smiling. Whatever this situation was, it was definitely more interesting than another night of debugging code. Your quantum processing is like watching a child stack blocks, Rima said, gesturing with her empty mug. Adorable, but... She paused, catching herself. I'm being condescending again, aren't I? Just a little. Justin grinned. But please, enlighten this primitive human. The blue-skinned beauty rolled her eyes, but he caught her fighting back a smile. In my dimension, we manipulate quantum states directly. Your machines are still bound by physical limitations. Show me? Justin nodded toward his workstation. Rima gracefully rose from her perch and crossed to his desk. Her presence made his usually spacious home office feel suddenly cramped. The scent of something exotic, like ozone and starlight if that were possible, filled his senses. This code here, she leaned over his shoulder, pointing at his screen. You're trying to optimize neural network responses, yes? Justin forced himself to focus on the monitor instead of how close she was. Yeah, it's for a VR training simulation. The response time isn't quite... Rima's fingers danced above his keyboard, trailing blue sparks. Lines of code rearranged themselves into patterns that made his head hurt. There, she said. Now try it. Justin ran the simulation. His jaw dropped as the system responded with perfect fluidity. That's impossible. You just violated like 3 laws of computing. No, I just ignored them. She smirked. Your laws are more like Guidelines. Okay, now you're just quoting Pirates of the Caribbean. I told you I find your culture fascinating. Rima settled back against his desk. Your entertainment media is particularly interesting. So many stories about heroes, villains, and romance. My people don't create art like that. No succubus Shakespeare? Justin asked, still staring at the impossible code on his screen. We experience emotions differently, she said, her voice growing softer. More efficiently. Human feelings are chaotic, messy, but there's something beautiful about that. Justin turned to face her. The playfulness had faded from her expression, replaced by something more vulnerable. Is that why you're really here? He asked. To study human emotions? I'm here because of the pact, she said quickly, too quickly. 3 wishes, that's the deal. You should really start thinking about what you want. What if I just want to talk? Rima stared at him, those luminescent eyes searching his face. You're very strange, Justin, right? Says the interdimensional being in my apartment. Fair point. She glanced at his computer setup again. Though if you really want to talk, perhaps we could discuss how your blockchain implementation is even more primitive than your quantum processing. Justin laughed. Now you're just trying to wound my professional pride. Is it working? Maybe. But first, he stood up, stretching muscles stiff from hours at his desk. I'm ordering pizza. Do succubi eat pizza? I don't actually need to eat, Rima said, then added with a hint of embarrassment. But I've always wanted to try it. Your food smells interesting. Prepare yourself for a religious experience, Justin said, reaching for his phone. Though given what you are, maybe that's not the best choice of words. Definitely not, Rima agreed, but her laughter took any sting out of the words. And Justin? No pineapple. I may be an alien, but I have standards. As Justin ordered, he caught Rima examining his collection of sci-fi novels with obvious amusement. The situation was surreal, a supposedly mythical creature critiquing his taste in speculative fiction, yet somehow it felt right. The night stretched on, their conversation flowing from technology to philosophy to the proper way to eat New York pizza. You can't just use a fork, Rima, it's sacrilege. With each passing hour, Justin found himself less focused on the promised wishes and more intrigued by the complex being behind the supernatural facade. And if he wasn't mistaken, Rima seemed to be letting her own carefully constructed walls slip bit by bit. 2 weeks had passed since Rima's appearance, and Justin's apartment had become their shared sanctuary. Tonight, they sat on his balcony overlooking the glittering Manhattan skyline, sharing a bottle of wine that floated mysteriously in mid-air, one of Rima's party tricks, as she called them. You still haven't made your first wish, she said, swirling the crimson liquid in her glass. Most humans don't last 2 hours, let alone 2 weeks. Maybe I'm enjoying the company more than the prospect of wishes. Justin watched as she manipulated the city lights with subtle gestures, creating dancing patterns in the night sky that only they could see. Careful, right? She teased, though something in her voice hitched. One might think you're actually falling for the dangerous succubus. Would that be so terrible? The wine bottle wobbled slightly before steadying itself. Rima's blue skin seemed to shimmer under the moonlight. It's complicated. My kind doesn't usually form attachments. And yet here you are, watching terrible Earth movies and arguing about pizza toppings with a human. Your movies aren't terrible, she protested. Well, most of them. Though I still don't understand why the humans in horror films always run upstairs. Justin laughed, but pressed on. You're deflecting. Perhaps. Rima stood, moving to the balcony's edge with otherworldly grace. My people, we experience everything differently. Emotions, sensations, pleasure, they're all part of a deeper cosmic understanding that humans can barely comprehend. Try me. She turned to face him, her luminescent eyes intense. Is that your first wish? To understand? Justin met her gaze steadily. Yes, I wish to learn the ancient secrets of pleasure and understanding from your world. The air between them seemed to crackle with energy. Rima's expression shifted from surprise to something more complex. You realize this isn't just about physical pleasure. I'm counting on it. She moved closer, her presence making the air feel electric. It will change you. The knowledge. It can't be unlearned. Good. Rima placed her hand on his chest, and Justin's world exploded into sensation. Colors he'd never seen before flooded his vision. Every nerve ending sang with awareness. He could feel the cosmic radiation passing through Earth, taste the quantum fluctuations in the air, hear the music of distant stars. This is how we experience reality, Rima's voice echoed in his mind. Every moment, every sensation, connected to the fabric of existence itself. The experience lasted both an eternity and a heartbeat. When Justin's perception returned to normal, he found himself gripping the balcony railing, breathing heavily. That was intense, he managed. That was just the beginning. Rima's voice had grown husky. The first lesson, you might say. Over the next few days, Rima taught him to expand his consciousness in ways he never thought possible. Each lesson brought them closer, their connection deepening beyond the physical realm. One evening, as they walked through Central Park, Justin noticed Rima watching a street musician with fascination. What is it? The imperfection, she said softly. In my world, everything is optimized, perfect. But here, she gestured to the slightly off-key notes floating through the air. The flaws make it beautiful. Like humans. She turned to him, snowflakes settling in her dark hair. Yes. Your species is wonderfully, terrifyingly imperfect. You feel everything so raw. And how do you feel? Justin stepped closer. Rima hesitated. I'm feeling things I shouldn't be able to feel. Things I wasn't designed to experience. Is that why you keep disappearing at night? She stiffened. You noticed? Kind of hard not to notice when whatever we are vanishes every sunset. I need to maintain the barriers, she admitted, between your world and mine, between what I am and what I'm becoming. Justin reached for her hand. What if you didn't? Justin, my second wish, he said firmly. I wish for the ability to enter your dreams, to share the worlds you create when you disappear. Rima's eyes widened. That's dangerous. The dream realms aren't meant for humans. Neither was that cosmic awareness thing, but here we are. She studied him for a long moment. You're either the bravest or the most foolish human I've encountered. Why not both? That night, as Justin drifted off to sleep, he felt himself pulled into a realm of pure imagination. Rima was there, but different. Her true form, a being of pure energy and starlight. Together they crafted worlds within worlds, bending reality to their will. Sometimes they walked through gardens where the flowers sang ancient songs of creation. Other times they soared through nebulae, dancing between newborn stars. But it was in the quiet moments when they simply existed together in their shared dreamscape that Justin realized he was hopelessly, impossibly in love with her. And in those moments when Rima thought he couldn't perceive her true emotions, he caught glimpses of her own growing terror at feeling the same way. The dream realms became their sanctuary, a place where they could be themselves without the constraints of physical reality or cosmic law. But with each shared dream, the line between their worlds grew thinner, and the consequences of their connection became harder to ignore. One morning, Justin woke to find Rima sitting at his desk, her usual confident demeanor shaken. "They know," she said without preamble. "My people. They know something's changing, that I'm changing. Because of me? Because of us." She met his eyes. "This wasn't supposed to happen, Justin. I'm supposed to grant wishes and move on, not—" She gestured helplessly between them. "Not fall in love?" The words hung in the air between them, charged with possibility and danger. "Don't," she whispered. "Don't say it." "Why not?" "Because it's true." "Because it's impossible." Her outburst made the lights flicker. "I'm not human, Justin. I'm not even truly alive in the way you understand it. I'm a construct, a bridge between worlds, a person," he interrupted, "who happens to be blue and occasionally manipulates quantum reality. But still a person." Rima laughed, but it was a broken sound. "You make it sound so simple." "Maybe it is." Justin moved to her, cupping her face in his hands. "Maybe we're just making it complicated because we're both scared of how real this is." The air crackled with energy around them, Rima's control slipping as emotions she wasn't supposed to have surfaced. "I have to go," she said suddenly. "I need to think." Before Justin could respond, she vanished in a flash of blue light, leaving him alone with the growing certainty that their next meeting would determine everything. That evening, Rima returned as silently as she had left, materializing in Justin's living room. He sat in darkness, waiting. "I thought you might not come back," he said softly. "I almost didn't." Her luminescent eyes seemed to glow brighter in the dark. "But it appears I've developed a rather inconvenient attachment to this place. To you." Justin stood, crossing the room to her. "Show me." "What?" "You've taught me to experience reality like your kind does. Now show me how you experience." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Connection." Rima's breath hitched. "Justin, the intensity. Humans aren't meant to—" "I trust you." She moved closer, her blue skin seeming to shimmer with internal light. "There's no going back from this. The sensations, the connection. It will change everything." "Good." Her hands traced the air around him, leaving trails of ethereal light. "Your first wish was for knowledge. This is beyond knowledge. Are you sure?" Instead of answering, Justin pulled her close, kissing her. The moment their lips met, reality shifted. Every nerve ending came alive with impossible sensations. He could feel the quantum dance of atoms between them, taste the starlight on her skin, hear the music of spheres. Rima's control slipped, her human form flickering to reveal glimpses of her true self, a being of pure energy and light. But rather than frightening him, it only drew him deeper. Their consciousness merged, physical and spiritual boundaries dissolving. Justin experienced pleasure on levels he never knew existed, each sensation amplified by their shared awareness. Time lost all meaning as they explored this new realm of connection. Hours or eternities later, they lay intertwined, reality slowly reasserting itself around them. The air still crackled with residual energy, and Justin could swear he saw fractals of light dancing across the ceiling. "Still alive?" Rima asked, her voice carrying an unfamiliar note of vulnerability. "Barely." Justin turned to face her. "Is it always like that for your kind?" "No." She traced patterns of light on his skin. "This was different, personal. We don't usually feel so much." "Having inconvenient human emotions again?" "Apparently they're contagious." She tried to sound casual, but he felt the tremor in her touch. "Justin, what are we doing? Right now? Lying in bed surrounded by quantum residue while you avoid talking about feelings." That earned him a small laugh. "I'm serious. This isn't just breaking rules anymore. We're changing things that shouldn't be changed." "Maybe they should be changed." Justin sat up, drawing her with him. Maybe that's why the wishes exist in the first place, to bridge worlds, to create new possibilities, or to teach succubi inappropriate attachments to clever humans. There was an edge of fear beneath her teasing tone. Is that what this is? Just attachment? Rima was quiet for a long moment. No, she finally whispered. It's much more dangerous than that. Justin pulled her closer, feeling the thrum of energy beneath her skin. Good, because I'm not done breaking rules with you yet. She laughed, but it was a shaky sound. You're impossible, says the interdimensional being in my bed. Fair point. She kissed him again, sending sparks of otherworldly pleasure through their connection. Though I should warn you, that was just the beginning of what I can show you. Is that a promise? Her smile turned wicked. That's a guarantee. As the night deepened around them, they explored this new dimension of their relationship, blending physical and spiritual connection in ways that defied the laws of both their worlds. And if the lights in Manhattan flickered mysteriously that night, well, some things were worth a little cosmic disruption. The warning came at dawn. Justin woke to find Rima standing by the window, her blue skin almost transparent in the morning light. Something was wrong. The air crackled with unstable energy. They're coming, she said without turning. The council. They've detected our connection. Justin sat up, still feeling the echoes of their shared consciousness from the night before. Your people? The ones who enforce the laws between dimensions. Her voice was tight. They don't approve of succubi developing emotional attachments. It disrupts the balance. What happens now? Finally, she turned to face him. They'll try to sever our connection, reset everything. You'll forget me, and I'll be reassigned to another realm. Like hell. Justin stood, crossing to her. The moment he touched her arm, their energies synchronized, sending ripples through the fabric of reality. I still have one wish left. Justin, don't listen to me. He took her hands, feeling the tremor of power beneath her skin. Every story about wishes says the same thing. Be careful what you wish for. There's always a catch, but they're wrong. The catch isn't in the wish itself. It's in not wishing for what truly matters. The air around them began to pulse with otherworldly light as dimensional barriers thinned. Somewhere, alarms were probably going off in whatever passed for offices in Rima's world. I wish, Justin said clearly, for a binding connection between us that transcends dimensional law and for your complete freedom from all obligations to grant wishes, past, present, and future. The words hung in the air for a moment before reality itself seemed to shudder. Rima gasped as waves of energy coursed through her, her form flickering between human appearance and pure light. What have you done? She whispered. Before Justin could answer, the room filled with blinding light. 3 figures materialized, beings of pure energy barely contained in humanoid forms. The council. This is unprecedented, the first being said, its voice resonating on multiple frequencies. It is forbidden, the second added. It is fascinating, the third concluded, studying them both. Rima stepped forward, her stance protective. I've been freed from my obligations. You have no authority here. The wish was invalid, the first being declared. Emotional attachment has compromised. The wish was perfect, the third being interrupted. Look at the energy patterns. Justin felt it then. The connection between him and Rima had changed, deepened. Their energies weren't just harmonizing anymore. They were fundamentally intertwined. This is impossible, the second being said. And yet, Rima smiled, taking Justin's hand, here we are. Power surged between them, and suddenly, Justin could see everything. The quantum threads connecting all reality, the flowing rivers of probability, the music of the spheres he'd only glimpsed before. More importantly, he could see Rima's true self, her essence now permanently linked with his own. The barriers between worlds are not meant to be crossed this way, the first being warned. Maybe they should be, Justin said. Maybe that's why the wish system exists in the first place, to evolve, to create new possibilities. He's right, the third being said. Look at their energy signature. It's stable, harmonious. This could be the breakthrough we've sought for millennia. The council members conferred in frequencies beyond human hearing. Finally, the first being spoke. The wish stands. The connection is permanent, but there will be adjustments needed. What kind of adjustments? Rima asked warily. Your powers will remain, but changed. Focus through your connection rather than council authority. And you, it turned to Justin, will need to learn to handle abilities no human was meant to possess. Sounds fun, Justin grinned. When do we start? You already have. The third being seemed almost amused. Your consciousness began adapting the moment the wish was granted, though I suspect your training methods have been unconventional. Rima actually blushed, her blue skin darkening. We've been thorough in our exploration of energy manipulation. Indeed. The council members began to fade. Remember, with freedom comes responsibility. This connection you forged could either strengthen or shatter the barriers between worlds. No pressure, Justin muttered. As the council vanished, Rima turned to him. Do you realize what you've done? What you've given up? Given up? I just gained the ability to bend reality and a permanent connection to the most fascinating being in any dimension. I'd call that a win. You're impossible. But she was smiling. You love it. Yes, she said simply. I do. For the first time in thousands of years, I truly do. Not because of cosmic law or wish fulfillment, but because you saw me, the real me. Justin pulled her close, feeling their energies dance. So, what now? We could reshape reality, explore other dimensions, maybe fix my apartment's terrible water pressure. Rima laughed, the sound rippling through multiple frequencies. First, we need to stabilize your new abilities before you accidentally turn Manhattan into a quantum playground. Then, she kissed him, sending sparks of multi-dimensional pleasure through their connection. I have a few millennia of relationship experience to catch up on. I thought Succubus didn't do relationships. We're writing new rules now. Her eyes sparkled with both mischief and love. Think you can handle that, programmer? With you, I can handle anything. As the morning sun rose over New York, reality itself seemed to smile on the impossible couple, the human who dared to love beyond dimensions, and the succubus who learned that true magic lies not in wishes or cosmic law, but in the simple, profound act of being seen for who you truly are. 5 years had passed since that fateful morning with the council. The penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park sparkled with quantum energy, its walls occasionally shifting to reveal glimpses of other dimensions. 2 children played in the living room, a boy and a girl, their blue-tinted skin shimmering as they manipulated reality in their game of interdimensional tag. Nova! Orion! Rima's voice carried multiple harmonics as she called to their twins. Time for dinner. Justin watched from his study, smiling as their 4-year-olds phased through walls in their rush to the kitchen. Their children were something entirely new, hybrid beings with powers even the council hadn't predicted. Thinking deep thoughts again? Rima wrapped her arms around him from behind, their energies automatically synchronizing. Just remembering something from a few years back. Justin leaned into her touch. Remember that kid I told you about, Timothy? The angry young man you gave powers to? Rima's luminescent eyes sparkled. How could I forget? The council was furious about that unauthorized reality manipulation. Worth it, though. Justin turned to face his wife, still amazed by how her beauty transcended dimensions. I saw myself in him, all that rage, that desperate need to prove himself. He just needed a chance. Like someone gave you. She smiled knowingly. Different kind of chance. He pulled her closer. You showed me who I could be. I just gave him the tools to figure it out for himself. Through their connection, they shared the memory. A rain-soaked alley, a desperate young man picking fights he couldn't win, and Justin, newly empowered, recognizing a soul in need of direction. The simple gesture of reshaping reality around Timothy, giving him power beyond imagination. You never did check what happened to him, Rima observed. Didn't need to. Justin glanced at their children who were now explaining quantum physics to their floating dinner plates. Some gifts need to come without strings attached. Nova looked up, her father's green eyes set in her mother's blue features. Daddy, tell us about the angry boy again. Later, Starlight. Justin ruffled her ethereal hair. First, let's see if we can eat dinner without accidentally creating any new dimensions. That was one time, Orion protested, his form flickering with embarrassment. Rima laughed, the sound rippling through multiple realities. One time too many. Your grandmother in the seventh dimension still complains about finding spaghetti in the cosmic void. As they settled into their family dinner, Justin felt the familiar warmth of contentment wash over him. Their life wasn't normal by any standard. Between council meetings, reality-bending adventures, and raising two hybrid children who could accidentally reshape existence while throwing tantrums. But it was perfectly them. Later that night, standing on their balcony that sometimes opened onto different stars, Justin pondered Timothy's fate. Somewhere out there, that angry young man was forging his own path with the power he'd been given. Justin hoped he'd found what he was looking for. No regrets? Rima joined him, their energies dancing together in the night air. About Timothy? None. About us? He turned to her, still amazed by how their connection had only grown stronger over the years. Only that I didn't find you sooner. We had perfect timing, she countered. Any sooner and you wouldn't have been ready, any later and the council would have new rules in place about succubi human relationships. Exactly. She kissed him, sending sparks of multi-dimensional pleasure through their bond. Though they're still arguing about whether our children count as a violation of cosmic law. Let them argue. Justin pulled her closer. We've got better things to do. Like what? Like showing our kids how to properly create stable quantum paradigms without accidentally erasing Manhattan. Rima laughed. Is that what we're calling it now? Above them, the stars shifted into new constellations. Their children's doing, no doubt. But neither Justin nor Rima moved to correct it. Sometimes the most beautiful things came from unexpected changes, whether in the stars or in the heart. And somewhere out there, a young man named Timothy was probably causing his own kind of beautiful chaos, exactly as intended. The end. Hey there, cosmic adventurers. So, I may have sneaked a little interdimensional Easter egg into that epilogue. Yes, that mysterious Timothy might just be wandering through another story, causing delightful chaos with his newfound powers. Justin's little act of quantum kindness might have sparked more tales than we initially thought. Sometimes stories, like dimensions, have a way of bleeding into each other in the most fascinating ways. You know what's funny? This whole thing started with a simple flea market purchase. Pro tip: always check your ancient artifacts for interdimensional beings before buying. The warranty usually doesn't cover succubi appearances. Speaking of which, I love how you all rolled with the idea of a programmer dating a quantum being. I mean, who hasn't had relationship problems involving multiple dimensions and council regulations, right? Though I suspect most of your in-laws don't actually exist in the seventh dimension. To all of you who've stayed with Justin and Rima through their reality-bending romance, you're amazing. Your enthusiasm for blue-skinned love interests and cosmic family dynamics has made this journey even more fun than accidentally creating new dimensions during family dinner. And hey, if you ever find yourself in possession of 3 wishes, maybe don't tell the council I gave you ideas. Keep being wonderfully weird. P.S. If any succubi are listening this, I apologize for any inaccuracies in quantum physics. Some things get lost in interdimensional translation,